Hi, welcome back to What Elon Said. Today's Thursday, February 17th. This is the channel where we comment on what Elon Musk said on Twitter, at conferences, and interviews. So, Kevin, what did Elon say today?
All right, well, let's take a look here. We're in Twitter. We got no real fresh tweets from Elon, but we've got a number of replies and likes to dig into here. So let's take a look. We're going to scroll down to the bottom and get the most updated from where we were yesterday. Okay, so the first one that he replied to was from Holmar's catalog at Holmar's blog. Hey, CNBC, any plans to disclose that the star of your FSD beta smear piece is a major investor in LiDAR companies that will be run out of business as FSD beta continues to prove their products are worthless? ? And then tags Elon Musk in it. And Elon replies with a inquisitive questioning face emoji. Yeah, kind of noting that, yes, it does seem a bit suspicious, doesn't it? And here's a clip of an interview with Taylor Rogan, who was the personality in that CNBC segment. And he is interviewing the CFO of Luminar, which is a LiDAR company. And he just gives an introduction here, and it's about a minute and 45 seconds. And I can't remember if I shared audio here, but just an introduction to Tom Finnemore here of Luminar.
Yeah, that's interesting. So that is I watched the Dave Lee walkthrough of it, and he had a lot of good points on it, that it was a skewed piece of a true owner of the car would not experience those incidents, and they were probably very rare at certain locations. But this is interesting how I didn't realize this, that he is connected with the LiDAR and a major investor. Definitely a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
I like Elon's reaction of the
Yeah, emoji. Right. It does raise some questions, might cause some people to dig around and try to get a clearer picture. A lot of interaction between Taylor and Dave Lee in the last couple of days. Dave was very critical of the CNBC piece and laid out his criticism in really like a live explanation as he went through it, and was also critical of Taylor Rogan. Actually, no. Okay. So he's a little bit critical of the things that was happening with Taylor behind the wheel in the piece, but Taylor came back swinging hard to Dave Lee and kind of just being childish and mean about Dave's piece about it, and calling him, I can't remember exactly what he said, but like a hungry or desperate man or something along those lines, like the thumbnail that in Dave Lee's video. So he's just kind of commenting on that, and Dave was asking him to provide some details about his Tesla holdings, whether he's ever shorted Tesla and some of his other holdings. I know this morning, checking up on it, that Dave has actually removed his piece from YouTube. He says he wants to let some things cool down a little bit, and that there's the Tesla community has got a little bit heated and emotional about the whole situation, and really went after Taylor in some way. So he took it down, and then there was some feedback about whether that was the right thing to do or not, whether he was being bullied or should have stood up more.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's unfolding as we move along here, but pretty
it's hotter than
story.
I thought it was. Yes.
Yeah. I was made aware of Taylor Rogan, I guess some weeks ago. I think it was Warren Redlick was posting about him. He tends to believe that Taylor's full of BS, but yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. Taylor says that he's a Tesla investor, Tesla owner, but he's pretty critical of FSD and their approaches of the beta testing going on. So
I just thought it was, I mean, he definitely, I don't know what his angle is really. I mean, this is interesting, his connection to LiDAR companies, but I just thought that whole CNBC thing was kind of interesting, that it really just took the perspective of 2, maybe 3 drivers, rather than having a survey or something, seeing how people's experiences have been.
Yeah.
It was just 2 negative ones. Not, what about, there are 100 others that are positive? And also it didn't talk about, has the system saved lives or has it prevented accidents?
Yeah. It is definitely a more negative spin on the testing and on the technology. I'd say that it's part of the enigma of Tesla and of Elon, the fact that they have very little communication, very little PR, zero marketing. And I think that really just disrupts news outlets and how people perceive Tesla and Elon, and how they compute all this. And so ultimately, I feel like it's like the Tesla community is the positive side in many ways.
Yes.
Although there's a dark negative side to it too. But the mainstream media approach is typically pretty negative tilting.
Yes, he doesn't work with them. This is a terrible analogy, but years ago with the late night wars, when Johnny Carson retired, Jay Leno and David Letterman were supposed to be the 2 choices, and most of the public, like the diehards, knew Letterman was really the right choice. But Leno won it because he literally called and went on the road nonstop to all the local news stations around the country, nonstop, and became friends with them. And Letterman didn't talk to them at all.
Yeah,
and that's how he got it. And this is sort of, I feel, the same thing, that Elon's not talking to them, so he's not making a good connection. And I'm sure that the other choices are reaching out to the news with all their PR departments.
Yep. I love that element of it, and I dig into both sides, and I flip-flop back and forth on my opinion about it. Like, really probably would benefit Tesla a little bit if they put out a little bit more information and was a little bit more accepting of marketing and some of the media approaches. But on the other side, I'm like, no, truth wins out. Build the best product, let it speak for itself, and let the technology speak for itself, and we'll get there. And it'll just win people over through quality and through the truth,
Yes, the truth.
Truth shall win in the end. Speaking of that, let's look at this next one here. Sawyer Merritt tweeted, news, ExxonMobil, Chevron, and Toyota accused of being the biggest corporate influencers that are blocking action against global warming. And this is from an ABC story. Now, this is real interesting. If you go to this link, it is no longer available, no longer posted. Here. So a dead link. Here's a snapshot of it. You have the 10 most negative and influential companies. And this is by Influence Map. And you have ExxonMobil, Chevron, Toyota, Southern Company, Sempra Energy in top 5 there. 4 to 5 are US companies. And then they have a carbon policy footprint in like the negatives, right? So on the surface, pretty clear, but thinking a little bit deeper about it, what does this exactly mean? And so I dug around a little bit to try and get to the article. But let's stick here first. That Sawyer then said the top 10 are joined by BMW 18th, General Motors 20th, and Daimler 24th, and Hyundai 25th from the automotive sector, which the report said was regarded as highly negative on climate policy. And Elon responded with a "no way" eye rolling emoji. Like, believe it or not, wow.
Yeah, it's so funny. He's like, I'm not part of that crowd. Still, I'm not in the same industry as them.
Yeah, right. So some really interesting commentary in the comments down below, some climate comments, and some other stuff. And here's what it looks like. Anyone else seeing this when clicking the article? And just below this, let's see, where was it? Okay, so let's see. I found it earlier that someone tweeted that Web Archive had the article. And
oh, could be.
yeah, so actually, why don't I just pull it up here?
Archive.com.
Yeah, so here it is, Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
Okay, can you see this all right? And and basically, it's just a study that identified that these companies are basically taking lobbying approaches to try and push back against and obstruct actions that are trying to address climate change. So let's see this bottom paragraphs here. US companies led the global list of the most negative and influential firms on climate. Report accused these companies of being the top 5 most negatively influential global companies on global commitments to reduce global warming. So there you go. So yeah, I mean, look, not too big of a surprise there on the surface, but good to always dig into the source and kind of understand studies a little bit deeper. And unfortunately, this one was taken down, but you can find it if you dig around there. And this was, I believe, in response also to Sawyer Merritt's post, and this is Renata Concoli, who often responds to Elon's tweets, and posted a nice meme here of dinosaurs. What's that? You think it's gonna hit us? And it's a Tesla on a big asteroid, and the 2 dinosaurs represent all the OEMs and oil companies. Yeah. We've been here forever, we're fine.
That's awesome.
Yeah, great animation there.
Elon's response, he gave a defense of them with some car makers are trying hard.
Yeah, trying very, very hard. Well, okay, so let's interpret that. Do you think he's saying that some car makers are trying hard to transition? Or is he saying some car makers are trying really hard to fight back against this transition and block public knowledge of things?
I think he's saying that
they're being more positive.
Hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they are trying hard right now.
Yeah.
I think he
has liked Ford CEO's comments about Elon inspiring him and how they're working really hard to make this transition.
Yeah. So, yeah. I think it's a positive comment. That's how I interpret it. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. So next up is Bill Lee of at West Coast Bill commented and said, and he would know, to a tweet from Zero Hedge saying, Munger says he is proud of having not invested in cryptocurrency, says it should be banned, and likens it to a venereal disease.
Yes, he has hated crypto forever. He's been against crypto since day one.
And Elon actually jumps in here and says, I was at a lunch with Munger in 2009 where he told the whole table all the ways Tesla would fail. It made me quite sad, but I told him I agreed with all those reasons and that we would probably die, but it was worth trying anyway.
Wow. That's a rough one.
Unbelievable.
And then he makes and Elon says, I was humble. It's so crazy.
And a lot of great replies here from different crypto and Tesla personalities.
Yes.
Some great humorous responses here, and the usual memes and GIFs and chuckles that come along with any Elon tweet, responses to it. Okay, let's keep moving here. So Joe Biden, we already mentioned this tweet yesterday or a couple days ago about how he wants to transition all the federal government vehicles to electric vehicles. And he's saying we're making Buy American a reality, not just a promise. And Elon had already I think liked this or responded to it, but
He liked it.
He did. Okay. So we responded here with ahem in an article in USA Today that Tesla Model 3 becomes first all-electric car of the year on cars.com 2021 American-made index. So, hey,
So
shouting out himself here and just making sure Biden's
he actually
aware.
went back to this, like, because he liked it yesterday, and then he saw this article and then decided to go back to Joe Biden's, out of his way to go back to it and respond.
Yeah. And then responds also saying, Model 3 is literally the most made in America car in, well, of course, America. So great responses, and you know, probably most viewers of this channel, if there are any, are pretty aware of the situation with the current administration and Elon's attempts and Tesla's attempts to be recognized by the administration and seemingly unwillingness to do so, although it's recently acknowledged them.
Acknowledged, but here again, he's going back saying that it isn't a reality. We're going to make it not just a promise. We're going to make it a reality. And Elon's like, it is a reality, and on top of that, we're quality.
Welcome to reality, Joe, and please stop ignoring us.
Yes.
You know, I love the ahem comment. Okay, next up is a tweet from Pranay Pothole. Thank you, Elon Musk, for pouring your heart, sweat, and tears into making Tesla and SpaceX. Wasn't an easy journey, lots of ups and downs, but thank you for never giving up and trying to make this world a better place. For that, my hat's forever off for you. It's like I feel like I'm reading a like a high school yearbook signing or something here, right?
That's
like,
right.
next to Elon's high school picture here, and it's like a young Elon winking, and Elon just responds with a high pain threshold comment.
Yes.
Like, that's it.
I know, that's the craziest comment. I got here through a high pain. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think about this a lot, that, you know, it takes vision, and I think most people think of Elon as a visionary and a dreamer of what the future can look like, and trying to make this transition and get into space and Mars and all that. But I think the real beauty of what he's done is that he's not only had the vision, but more importantly, he's been able to execute on that vision. Right, and he's brought some real different approaches and perspectives to business, starting a business and running a business, and manufacturing and all that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Like we've talked about a lot on this channel, it's really taking a physics approach to those things and bringing them into the business world. But as he mentions, you need a high pain threshold.
High pain, yes. And it, you know, he does, and he always talks about the pain of it. You know, he talks about, you know, to me, people say it's amazing what you did with these companies, and he goes, well, you know, being an entrepreneur is like eating glass every day.
Staring into the abyss and eating glass.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think probably most entrepreneurs can relate to that.
Yeah.
You just have to keep at it, right?
That's right.
But I think he's like vocalized it pretty eloquently with that,
yes.
You know? Okay, here we go. We're going into some choppy territory, some controversial territory. Here we go.
Whoa.
So CoinDesk, he's responded to a tweet from CoinDesk that said Canadian authorities have ordered financial institutions not to interact with 34 different crypto addresses tied to the country's ongoing trucker protests, and linked to an article here from CoinDesk about the situation in Canada. And we know Elon's been pretty outspoken, but I would say use a controversial, to say the least, meme here. And it's a
he posted this.
Yes. Yeah, here we go. It's a CEO, probably the most well-known CEO in the world, maybe. And he posts a meme of a picture of Hitler. Stop comparing me to Justin Trudeau. I had a budget.
God.
Wow. Okay.
So wait, it's not one question before the controversy. I'm just intrigued myself. So I'm so clueless. Does he create these or is he reposting it? Like, where does this come from?
I don't know for sure, but I've seen a lot of Elon memes over the years. And if you dig around into the comments underneath, you'll sometimes find, wow, I can't believe my original meme made it, all the way here.
So he just copies it somehow.
Yeah, and he's even commented about the silliness of people creating memes and then wanting to like trademark them and get commission off of a meme or something like.
So he just takes it. He doesn't repost it.
I think so for the most part. But this one wouldn't be that hard to make,
No. But that's crazy. That's so crazy.
Yeah. And gosh, if you dig into some of the responses here, it is a wild pool.
I mean, he had to know he was causing you don't post any time you compare someone to Hitler in some way, or that someone's worse than Hitler, then you're just bringing on the hate.
Yeah, it's getting wild down in here. So
everyone I don't like is Hitler.
This was his from I forget when that was. Yeah, January 30th. So
really?
Like within a couple weeks. The Child's Guide to Online Political Discussion. Everyone, it's a little golden book. Everyone I don't like is Hitler.
Very funny.
There was another one in here. There was one I saw of here it was Know Your Socialism with Marxist socialism, nationalist socialism, and liberal socialism. Yeah, some really wild stuff down in here, but we know he's pretty outspoken about I think control of speech and not letting governments get in the way of that. So and he's pretty outspoken about the situation in Canada. Wow, no better way to address a controversial topic than with a very controversial meme.
I don't know. This show might be short-lived.
Yeah. It may get scanned as I'm posting it.
He might be kicked off Twitter at some point here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jack Dorsey's not there anymore, so
he's not on Twitter. Oh well, no, he's not. Yeah, he's not the CEO anymore. Yeah. All right, so let's jump over to the likes real quick, and we've got a post from Tim Urban. He's posting about his recent discussion with Lex Fridman, and he's got a breakdown of the outline and all the topics that they discussed. I got through the whole thing. It is outstanding. Highly recommend to everybody. Great stuff.
It is a quality show. Very enlightening. Very, a lot of thought ideas in there. So it's good.
And a lot of discussion about Elon and his companies too. You can see some of the breakdown here. But actually, this looks like a post of the YouTube video of the interview. So I actually watched it on Spotify, and they have video on there now too. But this is showing the chapters, so that's great. You want to jump back to that. Jed Isaacman got a like here from Elon saying SpaceX has essentially a Manhattan Project caliber endeavor underway with the goal of making life multiplanetary. Starbase is at the heart of it. Great to spend time there with good friends, including at top of the tower. And at John Kraus Photos, Snap, thanks for the picture. And this is the way. And just a couple of snapshots of the future crew of Polaris Dawn. And something at the bottom of the Starship stack.
They had that picture yesterday also of them up top, right?
Yeah, with his wife.
Yeah, and then
this is the actual crew.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is like a Manhattan Project level work, especially when you go. It's worth, if anyone hasn't seen it, the Everyday Astronaut a few months ago had a long, like multi-part video series on YouTube where Elon Musk walked him around all of Starbase, everything. And you really got a sense of how they just don't stop. Like people are coming up to him. Everyone's very enthusiastic. And I don't think that was for the camera. They just were. And on top of things, and it's you know, one of his comments in there was like, everything is a crisis. We're constantly in crisis mode. We never stop. So it is like they are treating it like the world is on the line, and it is a Manhattan level project.
Yeah. I love the series of videos, right? It was, I think, 3 of them.
That's right.
Especially the interactions with the employees, because you could really tell that they're like committed, that they're passionate about it. But it was also like, at least the way that the video gave off the perspective that it's a very like democratized organization, right?
Yes.
There were individuals saying hi to Elon, responding to some of his questions. You know, that would be the case if any CEO is walking around, but you know, you're basically walking around in a construction site, and he's like, I guess, the head foreman. You know,
that's right.
It was just really great videos, interesting to watch. And for clarity, for anyone who doesn't know, the Manhattan Project was the project to build a nuclear weapon to end World War II.
And was successful.
Efforts taken place
everyone knows
by the U.S.
in such a short period of time. They were told to do the impossible and given endless funds to do it, which was how they did it so fast is amazing. Yeah,
good to clarify there. Okay, Shibatoshi Nakamoto at Billy M2K got a good meme like here, and this is a common meme, but funny the words he put in. You got someone reaching out to grab the ball of the actual truth, and then the blob monster behind the person, which is media narratives and confirmation bias, pulling him back. You don't want to go there. Right. So this really relates to, I'd say, the Canadian situation and his comments there. So
and also the CNBC slam piece.
Yeah. Yep. Good point. And then lastly here, Tesla Silicon Valley Club. We've got a short little clip of some FSD beta action, and they comment and say, FSD beta handles a very tight spot with huge truck in the way. Side mirrors collapse and it gets through perfectly. Mind blowing that this is possible. It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, like, I mean, it squeezes through this truck and knows to pull in the mirrors. You know, look, I'm bullish on FSD, hopeful of the future, but I really do try to take every video with a grain of salt. You have people out there who are going to try and be overly critical of it and point out all the bad sides.
Yes.
And then you have some out there that are overly positive and optimistic about it, who only show the good sides and cut out all the interventions and scary situations. So again, I'm like, I think it's amazing. I think we should give them more credit for how far they've come and the approach they're taking. But I know it's not ready for prime time yet, and everyone should be aware of that. And Tesla makes that very clear. So I try to look at the progress as objectively as possible. But I do love watching videos like this.
You have to take it in the middle, that like there's extreme setups to make it look better than it is and setups to make it worse. Exactly. And, you know, as Dave Lee reiterated on his video of the CNBC one, that Tesla, you not only do you buy it and you have to read about it when you buy it, but you have to take a test. You have to prove to it that you can drive safely. So
yeah, there's safety scores associated with being granted beta testing.
So it's not as if it's just anyone's getting behind the wheel and starting to do it.
Yeah. Now there have been individuals, and Taylor Ogan's one of them, who have said, you know, it's really easy. You just request it, and then you basically don't drive your car very much, and you drive it like very, very slowly at nighttime when there's not a whole lot of issues, and you can get a high safety score. But
most people are not going to go out of their way to get that. I mean, I would say that's an outlier.
Yeah. So, I mean, an evolving technology. I'm super excited about the future. I know at some point it'll happen, or at least I'm hopeful that it will, but you know, stay positive and don't throw shade and hate all the time. And you know, it's fine if you want to look at something objectively, but I'm not a fan of the hit pieces. So, all right, well, that wraps it up for today. 17th February, and we will catch up with everybody next time, tomorrow.
Fantastic. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep, see you then.